What is going on, guys? It's your boy Chris here. It's been a crazy week in Baltimore. Obviously, it started on or Sunday night with the Ravens' loss to the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. Everyone here has been kind of bummed about that. And then to say the tide turned would be a massive understatement. On Wednesday afternoon into the evening, news broke that the Orioles were being sold to an investment group headed by local businessman David Rubenstein. And local businessman headed by David Rubenstein and Mike Arrighetti. Among the people investing with him are names such as Cal Ripken Jr., former Orioles legend, Kurt Schmoke, former Baltimore mayor, and Michael Bloomberg, one of the richest men in the world, and former New York City mayor, um, Hopkins grad. So everybody in this list has some sort of ties to Baltimore, and so like it's big. This was a big deal because the Angelos family had finally sold the team, something that many of us in Baltimore have been calling for years. Now, for those who don't understand the backstory, and I'm gonna be fair to the Angelos family here because they catch a lot of shit. Okay, I'm not the biggest Angelos family fan. I do know one of the other minority owners. I became friends with him through karaoke, hosted by my boy Mark Bishop. If you're in the local area, he hosts up at over at Conrad's up in Perry Hall. He hosts at Nick's Grandstand in Timonium. He hosts at a couple of them, Emerald Tavern up in Parkville, Mother's up in Timonium. So, he has a couple of great shows. He's a very good karaoke guy, has tons of music. So, go support him, go check him out. He's a good dude. I met one of the owners through him. So that there's that. um, so he's always been cool. Like that guy's always been super cool. Not gonna like hype him up or anything. All right, fuck it. It's Steve Jeppy, the comic book guy, Diamond Comic Distributors. I met him years ago. Never, never asked for anything from him or anything like that. Super good guy, local guy, just a good dude. He was one of the part owners of the team. I don't know if he got rid of his part at some point or not, but he's always at the games, always support the team. It is what it is. But Angelos was like the big guy. You know what I'm saying? Like Angelos was the money guy, the big money guy, the main guy who ran everything. One of the biggest things that he bought the team for was to keep the team in Baltimore because there was talk when they were up for sale that they were going to move out of Baltimore. Him being a local guy, he put his money where his mouth was to keep the team here. And as the years went on, they started struggling and started not doing so hot. But there's this idea that the ownership didn't spend money. That is not true. At one time, we spent money like crazy. 1997, they had two of the best teams in baseball. Okay? That was under the Angelos family. And then shit went bad. It happened. The Yankees went through a period in the 80s where they sucked. The Red Sox went through a period in the 80s where they sucked. You know what I'm saying? Like every team goes through a period where they suck. It's just that the Orioles went through an extended period of they suck. Then, things kind of changed over. Peter got ill and his son John took over and his mom and his wife and his other son took over. Um his wife Georgia made it clear she did not want it. She wanted to sell the team. So that became a thing, and I guess it was waiting for the right time to do it. Just so happens that during all of this, the team's 30-year lease was coming up at Camden Yards at the end of last year. So Add all that together, you had like rumors about the team being sold like in December, the lease being up, and all this shit happening. People wanted the local people wanted the Angelos family out anyway because they were sick of how they ran the team, because the idea they don't spend money. But they did, they spent it different ways, spent through the draft and stuff like that. But when you're not seeing the success on the field, the fans get antsy. I'm one of those people. Okay? But the past 2 years have been really nice under John Angelos and the way that they spent. Drafting well, getting a good GM in Mike Elias, and getting a hell of a manager in Brandon Hyde. Accentuating our younger players with veteran guys who will show them the way, along with some of our veteran guys who've never had that success, but we brought in guys with the track record who've been on winning teams to show them what it's like. And that helped change the culture in the clubhouse. So come the Wednesday, and like I said, the word comes out that the Angelos family has agreed to sell the team, with David Rubenstein being the principal control guy. Basically, like he's calling all the shots, which good. Angelos is sticking on for now as an advisor to ownership until Peter passes away, at which point the rest of the team ownership will convert over to the investment group that has bought the team. Right now, they have a 40% stake, which is a majority of everything. If you add the investment group in with the Angelos family, like they own a majority of everything because it's split 30-30 and the rest of the way or something like that. Or 20-20-20 or whatever the fuck they did. However they did it, he's got the majority of stakes and everything. It includes Mass and the Big Bang Sports Network. So that's going to be a part of the deal too. So the network's not going anywhere. All that's staying the same. And then yesterday night, around, I want to say 6:30, somewhere in there, the news broke that the Orioles had traded for Baron fucking Corbin. Not Baron Corbin. I'm thinking about the wrestler Baron Corbin. Corbin fucking Burns. Okay? For those who don't know baseball, let me break this down for you. Corbin Burns is one of the best pitchers in baseball. Never gets hurt. Is second in the league in the baseball in strikeouts behind Garrett Cole for the most strikeouts since how they both started. And he's like right there with him too. It's like 1 and 1A really. Like he's right there. He strikes out dudes like crazy. Doesn't give up a lot of walks, but the biggest thing is he's pretty much dominated the AL East in any time that he's come to the AL East parks. His earned run average at Camden Yards alone is 0. He hasn't given up a run at Camden Yards in any of his starts with the Brewers. So he's never given up a run at Camden Yards. His metrics for home runs allowed are actually better here than are going to be in Milwaukee, which is crazy because Camden Yards is kind of a hitter's park. Even with the wall in left, it's still a hitter's park. But in the process, we gave up DL Hall, Joey Ortiz, and the 34th pick in this year's draft. Now, DL Hall, high strikeout guy, has control issues, gives up a lot of walks and stuff like that, but he gets strikeouts because he just throws like just fucking heat. So he's got a good fastball, but no one knows whether he's going to be a starter or a reliever. I think the Brewers are probably going to try him out as a starter, see if it works. And if not, they've got a fucking beast of a relief pitcher because he can go out. He can get stretched out. He can go more than one inning, and he's got heat. Excuse me. Joey Ortiz is a top 10 prospect in the Orioles system. Ortiz The only reason that he was expendable is they have just a logjam of middle infielders who are ready to come up. He's a great fielder at second or short, and he's got a bat that'll play in the major leagues. Like in any other team, most teams, he could be your starting shortstop. He just couldn't break through because Gunnar Henderson is here, Jackson Holliday is about to come up, and Jordan Westburg's up here now. Like, there's no spot for the guy, and it's unfortunate to let a guy with his glove and his bat go, but there's nowhere for him to play. Because if everything shakes out perfectly, Jordan Westburg's your second baseman, Jackson Holliday's your shortstop, and Gunnar's your third baseman. Or Jackson's your second baseman, Gunnar's your shortstop, and Westburg's your third baseman. I mean, there's no telling what they're going to do. Like, they're all, like, infield guys. So, I mean, it could go either any of those options could work. So, you just don't know what they're going to do because you have no fucking clue. And it's a shame. But Ortiz was just like, we don't have a spot for this guy because he doesn't play third. These other guys, like, two of these guys can play third, and two of these guys can play second or short. And Jackson Holliday is, like, he's ready. Like, he might be ready now. At 20, he might be ready right now to be on a major league roster. Like, he's that good. The consensus number one prospect in baseball. This is like the third year in a row that we've had that, because it was Adley the year before, then it was Gunnar this year, now it's Jackson this year. There's like an embarrassment of riches. So the Orioles made this trade. We traded a top 10 system prospect, a top 100 prospect, and a guy who had just graduated from the top 100, and a draft pick for one of the best pitchers in baseball who deepens our rotation to where everybody can slide down one. Burns, you're number one, clearly. Bradish, you're number two, clearly. Grayson Rodriguez, you're number three. John Means, you're 4. Dean Kramer, you're 5. Or, just hear me out, Burns, Bradish, and Means at 1, 2, and 3. Rodriguez at 4. And Kramer at 5. Let's not forget, John Means was like was a fucking ace caliber pitcher like a year before he had to have Tommy John. So, I mean, people are just sleeping on him. It's like, you just forgot. Am I a joke? He's like, am I a joke to you? Am I a joke to you? You're not a joke to me, John. I know what you can do. You threw that no-hitter in Seattle. But this is what they've done with their rotation. And if you look at their pitching staff, you've got those 5 in your rotation. And then you've got Tyler Wells who can start. You got Cole Irvin who can start. If those guys are in your bullpen, you've got some length in your bullpen now because those guys can go like a couple innings if something happens. You've got your bullpen is now strengthened. You lose Hall, but you've got Kimbrel at the back. You got Cano. You got Colomb. You got Perez. You got a returning Dylan Tate. You got the vulture, Mike Bowman. You got Keegan Aiken if he's 100% and ready to go. And then you got Wells and you got Irvin. That's a nasty fucking pitching staff, isn't it? Just the addition of Burns made the Orioles rotation one of the best in the American League. It's the difference one guy makes. I tell you right there. One guy makes that difference. It's a great time to be an Orioles fan. It's a great time to be an Orioles fan. Sorry I delayed doing this video. I wanted to make sure everything was official before I did anything. That's why I held off on the sale on this video. I wanted to make sure the sale went through first, where the sale was announced, and then I wanted to make sure that this trade was legitimate before I kind of went off and kind of did a woo shit video. But everything's official, so here's my woo shit video. So, woo shit! It's live in Birdland. Can you feel the magic? Because I could feel the magic. And it feels pretty goddamn good if you're a Baltimore Orioles fan. This is liftoff, as Mike Elias put it. We're in liftoff now. We made the playoffs last year. Now we can try to win this fucking thing. Now, baseball's a weird game. It's 162 games. It's a long road. Who knows what's going to happen? But there's hope. And for a long time in Baltimore, that is something we did not have. But now we do. And as a lifelong Orioles fan, as I'm sure a lot of lifelong Orioles fans who are sitting here watching this with me, or even fans of other teams who've been in my shoes, you know how good it feels when this type of change happens so quick. You just hope it lasts and you hope it stays good. So that's what I'm hoping for. Anyway, that's all I've got for this video. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Peace.